Well, good morning and happy Tuesday, Signature Real Estate Group. Your brokers here with our sales meeting for this week. We've got an exciting meeting for you. Yes, just like that, like Vanna White, right? But before we start that, I'm going to pass it off to Myra Talley over at Prosperity Lending.
Hi everyone, Myra Talley with Prosperity Lending. Hope you guys are having a wonderful Tuesday. I wanted to briefly talk to you guys about the Nevada Home is Possible, not the regular program, but specifically for the first-time home buyer program. With this one, they recently made a change, which I thought I would share since it's a great one. Typically, when a buyer opted for this first-time home buyer option, they had to live in the home for a minimum of 7 years. They've now updated that, and they only have to live in the home for 3 years. Some of the details of this program is the buyer must have a 660 credit score. The purchase price for the home is a little bit lower than on the traditional. The maximum purchase price is $306,357, and there is also an income restriction. So the buyer, if there's 2 or more, their maximum income household can be $75,000, and if there's 3 or more people in the household, it's $86,250. For this one, our debt to income ratios are capped at 45%. But great news again that they changed it from 7 years to only 3 years. So if you have any questions at all, feel free to contact your favorite Prosperity Lending loan officer. Thank you. Have a happy Tuesday.
Well, thank you so much, Myra Talley. We appreciate you being here for all the fun information about funding and financing and lending and all those good things. If you're not using a Prosperity Lending mortgage
Shame on you.
Shame on you. You should be. They're phenomenal. They're always here to help you with whatever you need. Check in with them. They are also going to be part of some of the strategies that I talk about today. In our what we're trying to do today is talk about listing strategies.
Yes.
We're going to try. Chris and I and Janet will do it. Tom's going to try.
Well, wait a minute.
We will be.
I pulled way out of the box.
Oh, you
I
did?
dug deep in the nugget vault
Oh,
and
God,
brought out
Lord.
some nuggets that I believe no one will even have thought about. Just completely out of the box. I can't wait.
Well,
I'm excited.
Well, I think you should go first. Let's
Yeah,
talk about
me
that. I mean,
too.
I'm excited to hear
Really?
that. I brought a
Excited.
pen to write down
Well-
what nuggets you're going to say.
Here's one, right? Think of this. Why would you be doing the same thing that everybody else is when presenting a CMA? Someone said they wanted a valuation of their house. Why not knock it up a few nuggets? This is like a 2-nugget one, right?
Okay, 2 nuggets.
2
Got it.
nugget one.
Okay.
I feel we're like on a sports show, you know, like there should be buzzers and little, noise makers.
No, but seriously, think of putting your CMA using Google Earth, recording it, and doing your thing recorded to them, right?
Video presentation.
Video presentation, CMA, that has using Google Earth. You come on saying whatever you want to say in the intro, and then use Google Earth to fly into their property, and then go from their property to talk about the first comp, fly over to their first comp, then flip over to the pictures that are inside there and talk about the other comps in there, and actively show them on a recorded video CMA and provide that to them. And do you think anybody else is going to do something
Why are
like
you
that?
so mad?
I'm not mad. I'm excited about
He's
this.
enthusiastic.
Passionate.
Oh my
Passionate.
gosh.
So passionate.
Look,
This is how the market
Okay.
got hot, by the way.
Yeah, we can't just be doing like everybody else is, because if everybody's fishing in the same pond,
good
there's
idea.
not enough fish.
I'm really
So
surprised.
make
It's a good
yourself
idea.
look different.
I'm surprised too.
You know what I would have
That's a
done?
great way to kick off the meeting.
I would have added in, like, everyone always says that home down the street is the nicest home in the neighborhood, or mine's the nicest home, but you've never been in the other one. You could actually FaceTime that other property and add it to your CMA,
Yeah.
so that you've been in
All
the
right.
house.
You know,
I
think
gotta-
outside the
I
box.
gotta go just tag right on. Another good tip is
Wait, hold on. Is it the same tip, like adding on to his
it's
tip?
adding on, but
Okay.
it's different.
Okay, because I have a question about his tip. But I don't want you to lose it.
All right,
so go ahead.
I'll lose my train of thought.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's
The other thing always goes
important
first.
to the seller that the listing agent know the neighborhood.
Yes.
So what you should probably do, if you don't know this neighborhood, if you don't live there, if you haven't done a lot of business there, show up really, really early. Drive up and down every street.
Stalker style.
Soccer stuff?
Stalker style.
Oh, stalker. I thought you said soccer. Stalker. Okay. and get to know it so that when you go to talk to the seller about the comps, you can say, now this home backs up to a park, so that may be a little more desirable. This home backs up to a really busy street. The good news is you're close to a Smith's, you're close to a Walgreens, and really talk knowledgeably about the neighborhood in the 30 minutes you glean just driving up and down every street.
Hey, you like to talk, I like to show. And with Google Earth, you can fly over to the other house that they're talking about and see the house and see what's happening with it.
It's better if you've driven it and seen
Oh,
it in person.
well, have you flown over it?
I think both of them are great ideas. You should do both. How about that? But I have a question for you. So we're talking about doing like technology-based type of stuff, right? Is there an easy way that you recommend agents to do it? Because I can't imagine every agent going out there and getting a drone.
No,
right?
no
So
need
you
for a
said,
drone.
Stop yelling. So if you were to do, so if
You
you
gotta give
were
them a
to do
punchline to
it,
this question.
yeah. So if you were to do it, like how would you get them to? What would you say? Here's how you start with Google Earth and you record it on your computer.
Yeah.
On, okay.
Yeah, record
Aerial view.
the aerial flying in and flying out. I was fortunate enough to be able to go through this idea with Beta a little earlier today and sort of last night. And
Sorry, Beta.
We have the ability to do that here. We have the ability to do a lot of things, technologically speaking. It's just whether or not people take the time, effort, and energy to actually do it and try to set themselves up differently. You know, we can, look, we're going to tell you where the water's at. Whether you drink it or not, it's going to be up to you. But holy heck, just something to think about, that if you want to set yourself apart, whatever level of home values you're doing, $1 million, $100,000, if there even is one anymore, but any level, just
I like it.
be different, for God's sakes.
I'm
That's
basking
right.
in the analogies.
I like it. I like it. All right.
Right.
Who's next?
Anybody else?
Oh, you have
Come on,
35 slides.
keep that nugget.
I
Keep that nugget.
I did like a whole
Put this
PowerPoint
nugget.
presentation, and there's so many
Well, that's
things that
you.
you can. I know, it's just who I am. But I actually did. I had done it for my team, and I'm like, I don't know where to start because there's so many. All right, why don't you go while I look?
No, you were gonna go.
Okay, so one of the things that I think is really important is to find right now in this marketplace, because we have absolutely very few listings, is to find a second home buyer, somebody who owns their second home here and doesn't have to worry about where are they gonna go. And so how do you find that list? You call one of your title reps and they can provide lists upon lists for you about second home buyers. And here, if you want to go one step further, ask for second home buyers that have maybe $500,000 in equity already in their home and start farming that list. Make phone calls, send them cards, email them, stalker style. And then I think that's going to be my theme for today's meeting is stalker style do stuff, right? Is you do have to think outside of the box. Don't be intimidated. Don't be scared. You're bringing value to these people because they don't know that their home could be worth this much or, you know, whatnot. But if you already have a buyer that isn't worried about where am I going to go next?
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
That's really great. Now I want to piggyback on that, and I'm not going to go into detail because I did talk about this last week, so watch your video from last week. But along with that is farming out-of-state owners because, as Vandana said, they don't have to worry about where am I going to move.
Yeah.
So, and to know that they might have potentially $500,000 in equity just sitting there, that could be a huge game changer for both of you.
Yeah, it could be 250,000, it could be 500, but you could strategically plan that out with your title reps and figure out what's next. I mean, that's how I shop for
I love it.
husbands.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
That's how
So-
you shop for husbands.
I asked my title reps.
Give me a list. Ones with $500,000 or more.
$500,000. All right. So, Chris,
Janet, did you want to go
Oh,
before I
Janet.
go?
I just went.
she's
Oh,
just,
she's
she's been
she-
doubled.
yeah,
She's
she's
doubled
been-
already.
Okay, I'm being courteous, okay?
All
So,
right, thank you,
so
Chris.
I've got one, and I think we would all probably agree right now, it's not really hard to get a buyer. Would you agree?
Oh,
Yes.
absolutely.
Because we all have that person that we know that's trying to get a home, they've been beat out, they're
That's
upset.
a negative nugget.
That's a negative nugget. But what I notice a lot of agents doing is they take a buyer, they give them a great presentation, they show them what they're going to do, and then they go to the MLS to try and find a home, and we all know that there's no homes in the MLS. And so what a lot of people forget about is the MLS is based off the tax search. And so you can literally go into the MLS, go into the tax record, and search for homes that they like, just like the one that's listed that has 50 offers, you can reverse it to all of the homes that were built that same way and actually go and knock on the door of those homes. And so instead of you looking at what's on the market, look at what the builder built, and you have now 40 or 50 homes that match exactly what your client already fell in love with. Wait, there's more. And so we all know that that home probably isn't listed, or they're considering listing
You're
the home.
stealing my thing.
It's okay. What I would suggest that you do is when you're knocking on that door and you have that interested buyer and you know that they're willing to pay a little bit above market so they're not competing, that you present the seller in that property with an offer from your buyer, because we know that that home matches everything that they want. And why not? Because you're not going to market the home, you're not going to put it on the MLS, you're not going to field 500 offers. Why not offer them a little bit of an incentive? So if you're going to rep the buyer and the seller and just go straight to contract to close, would you do it for 5%? Maybe?
So that's very interesting, and I had that real life scenario yesterday. I had an eye appointment, and I walked in with my signature real estate mask on. And so one of the sweet little girls that dealt with me said, "Are you in real estate? Can I talk to you?" I said, "Oh, sure." And she said, "So we're selling our home." And I said, "Really? Where are you moving?" She said, "We're moving out of state." I said, "Okay." And I said, "Whom are you listing with?" She said, "Well, we're not listing." She said, "A realtor sent us a letter, and she had sold our same floor plan in our neighborhood. And she sent us a letter saying she had shown that other property, and she had 6 buyers who want that floor plan but didn't get it in the bidding war. And so we're going to go with her, and she guaranteed us she'd have at least 6 cash buyers by next Saturday when she makes it available to all her buyers." So your buyers missed out? Find the same floor plan in the neighborhood and start sending letters and calling, just like Chris said.
Because the chances are, the agents that are representing those buyers, look at, Chris is writing a bunch of stuff down.
No,
No,
I'm
he's
scratching
marketing.
it off my
Oh,
list so I don't come back.
So, we brought pens and paper in case we get a good nugget.
In case we're shocked by a cast member next to us.
Can I just say about good nuggets, you really don't have to sit here and take notes, because
It's recorded.
it's recorded, number 1. I'm going to listen to the meeting again after Beta puts it up, not today. But, and then I will take notes and put them in the newsletter.
What's a newsletter? I'm kidding.
Do you know what I took away from that, though, on your story?
Yeah.
We went into the wonderful story. Mass work if you have your logo on them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
This is prime advertising.
Right now.
Right?
Yeah.
Because you see these eyes and then you see the logo. I'm going to start some more masks that actually talk about real estate.
It's a great idea.
Well,
Right? You want to buy logo space?
Yeah, she would not have asked me about real estate had I not been wearing my signature real estate mask.
And let me tag on to the letters. Look, there is nothing illegal or bad about sending out a love letter for listings. Not for sales when you put your offer in, but send out love letters. If you have a client that has a great story, send that story out to all those homes saying that they love that house, they want that house, they just can't imagine themselves not raising their kids in that house. Send it out to those folks, because there's nothing illegal about doing it that way. Can't do it when we for offers, but we sure in the heck can do it when we're trying to get listings. So send out those love letters for listings.
That's a great nugget.
I'm telling you.
That might be
I'm
worth
drawing them down.
two.
I'm telling
goodness
you.
gracious.
I know. I told you. I pulled out all the stops for this meeting today.
All those nuggets. All right, next.
He just gave another nugget. There was something with a nugget on the table, so go ahead.
It was something with a nugget on the table. All right, so we've talked about a bunch of stuff. I guess one of the other strategies is that I get a good majority of my sales. In fact, I track my numbers every year. I've been doing it for 2 years now. So it's not every year for since I've been in real estate, but the last 2 years I've been tracking my numbers. I've been tracking where my leads come from, where my transactions are coming from. And I've come to realize that it's all SOI, right? I am surprisingly 100% SOI. And I closed 30-something transactions last year, all SOI. So I focus on my SOI clearly, because that's the part that's where all my leads come from. I think one of the problems is that we are afraid as individuals to actually have that conversation with our SOI of, listen, in the next year, you're going to probably run into about 5 to 7 people who are looking to buy or sell real estate. If you come across those people, would you do me a favor and make sure that you give them my information and call me with their information? And getting that one yes, getting that commitment from them is a big deal, because now you've also given yourself an opportunity to follow up with them again, right? Now, you can do a whole ton of stuff around your SOI, but asking that question is going to be key. And I will tell you that as much as I do this, there was one that slipped through the cracks. He ended up selling his house, posted a picture about it, and I called him and I was like, I'm
She drove
sorry,
up and down the street
who
from his
is
house.
this broad that you sold your house with? It was on Facebook. That's how you find out, right?
Yeah.
And it happens to all of us. It's one of those gut-wrenching, like, oh crap, I just lost a client. And it was in a seller's market. I was so angry, and he was just like, I'm sorry, she's a friend of mine too. And I was like, I don't care. He's like, the next one's yours. And I said, they should all be mine.
Every 3 years apart, the next one's yours.
But so he owns a lot of rental properties. And so I said, well, you know, I wasn't obviously doing a good enough job. And so I've upped that. But it's really important to continuously gauge what it is that you're doing with your SOI and continuously ask the question, because even if you asked it once in the year, they will forget after month 1. So you got to keep asking.
What I love about what you said is that the problem with most people working a database is you've got to build momentum in the database. You've got to start the questions, you've got to get them put into a system. You got to start, if you have no database right now, start with 20 raving fans, get them excited about what you do, and then just build from it. But the whole point is you've got to get momentum going.
Yeah.
And then as you do, you could literally not do the things that we're talking about and get listing leads. I mean, it happens with many high producers we know of.
Yep.
They have not held an open house, done any door knocking, made any phone calls, but their database is calling them with leads on a regular basis because they have great momentum.
Can I tell you a secret? Which will
Well,
be
that's
a
the whole
secret
idea.
You want to
after.
whisper it,
That's
or
the
can you
whole
say
idea
it?
of this
I'll
meeting.
tell everybody. So we just did for my entire team, we did in March, Thin Mints, right? We bought from Girl Scout cookies. So
Oh,
it
yeah.
was giving back
I
to
bought
the
a few Girl Scout
community.
cookies myself.
Right,
Yeah, I
so
can
we were
see.
giving back to the community, and so we bought Thin Mints and we delivered them to all of our clients. Now that the typical cheesy
Really?
pop by and so we actually delivered them to a majority of our clients and not everybody, because we haven't gotten referrals from them. They closed years ago, blah, blah, blah.
You
So-
delivered them, or you like hired the Girl Scouts to go out and deliver them to your clients?
No, I mean, we delivered them like we hired somebody to go, not Girl Scouts, but we delivered them, that somebody showed up at the door, hey, Vandana has a special delivery for you, and it was, you know, it had a card on it, it was cheesy as heck, and, you know, it was no matter how the cookie crumbles, we are lucky to have you as a client, right? Something so cheesy. I got probably 3 like really great leads from it, just from a $5 box of Thin Mints that got delivered to clients. But what the key was is that we followed up after that with all the people that didn't get it. And I sent them a picture of this, of the Thin Mints, like the actual, you know, card that we had. And I said, hey, we just dropped off Thin Mints. Did you get one? If not, call me to find out how to get on my VIP list.
Wow.
And what that did was it triggered a lot of people who weren't on that list for me to have the conversation of, hey, you're going to meet anywhere from 5 to 7 people in the next year who are going to buy or sell real estate. Are you going to commit to me to making sure that I'm the one that you contact when they ask? And the answer is yes. Great, you are on my VIP list, and now you get what we do next.
You get
and
some cookies.
You get some cookies, right? So now they're on that list. I've had the conversation. They've made a commitment, right?
I love it. That's
Yeah.
great. You can't do
Are you
that
gonna
with the Boy
write that down?
Scouts. You know why?
You know, right? They don't have cookies.
No, they don't have cookies, but the popcorn sucks. Nobody wants that popcorn.
Yeah, no one wants to pop.
Right?
That's true.
They've
You're
done
gonna
a
do it over a
disservice.
campfire.
So-
I
Yeah.
mean, come on.
I think I've thrown like.
I think that
nuggets
nugget was
back, so.
fantastic, and I
Thanks.
think it's something I would definitely do, and I know it works for you for sure, because you see the business from it.
Mm-hmm.
I've got one that I think that we have to come back to, the original staple of real estate. There's no question if you do this, you will kill it with listings, and that's door knocking. How readily available are you and willing to go out and actually knock doors, trap the sellers in their house, and actually ask them to list with you? I mean, for everyone who's ever done it, for everyone who's made it a staple of their business, it works every single time.
Yeah.
It does.
So what freaks people out though is when they actually get to the door, it's like, what do I say?
Hello.
Perfect. That's
Natural
a great
occurrence.
start. That's a great start. Hi, right? So you start with that. I always recommend to have maybe on a monthly basis, so you have to do this consistently. And that, I think that's going to be key no matter what we talk about, right?
Consistency.
Stalker status. Like, you have to have a consistency in no matter what it is that you do. You have to have constantly go back to that door on a monthly basis, create a farm area that's that you want to work, and just work that farm area in every aspect you can, so that they know you're not going to stop. You're persistent, you're consistent, and you're.
I want to add one other piece. Everyone's knocking residential doors, which is great. You can also door knock businesses, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people forget that people culminate in their neighborhoods at their grocery store or at their, I was going to say video store, but that hasn't happened.
No
for
more
years.
video store.
But just think about dry
Like
cleaners.
Blockbuster?
Yeah, all of those places in your local,
nail
supermarket
shop.
area, the nail shop.
Yeah.
Go in and meet the owners of the businesses, because they employ people that need a place to live. And when someone's in, planning on moving, they're going in and buying products and services, and they're telling it, well, I'm moving. Well, I can tell by the moving boxes you just bought, right? I mean, but that whole idea is that you're going in and knocking that business, and no other agent is. They're just knocking the doors. You're able to get some bulk business, and those people are helping you.
And if you don't have your card and have met every single storage facility in
Yeah.
Las Vegas, you're absolutely crazy. I mean, because they are the #1 easiest place to pick up buyers and sellers, because that's the first place that they go to.
Yep.
They're either putting storage in or they're taking storage out, and you want the ones that are taking their storage out.
Yeah.
Another great nugget, off the cuff. That was an off the cuff nugget.
Yeah.
Or I would say
Reactionary
putting
nugget.
it in because they're cleaning up their house to put it on the
Could be.
market.
Yeah.
Could be.
All right, who's next? I just dropped a nugget, so.
Well, you know what?
Jen?
I have.
God, I have so many.
I do too. I got another. Here's.
Oh, I got one.
Okay.
Comparison shop. So what you can do is anytime you're on vacation, find a home that's within a whatever range that you want to work in, right? If you're a $500,000 agent, and that's the sales price that you want to work in.
Okay.
Find a home wherever you're at on vacation, or just look on, that Z word, look on their app and see what you can find in that price point, and do a comparison shop and send it to the agents in that state, saying, hey, here's what your clients can buy here, here's what your clients can buy here. Here's the other thing, you can also do a Facebook ad on it and find people who are actually looking within that price point and comparison
what you're
shop
saying.
with them.
I get what you're laying down.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, makes
What?
sense. That makes
Yeah.
sense.
So
And you get to
comparison with
write,
them.
and you get to write the trip off.
Correct. So
I can't believe we're talking about getting listings and you guys are going on vacation.
I'm just saying, well,
Because
no,
we got listings.
because the only way.
That's what you do to get the listings to sell,
Here's
not to
the
get the
thing.
listings.
Right, exactly.
Exactly.
Anytime you go on vacation,
Always.
it always happens.
phone
You get
rings.
business. Your
Yep.
phone rings like
Every
crazy,
agent in
right?
Las
So it doesn't
Vegas
have-
has
So the
been on
comparison
vacation.
shop thing doesn't have to be when you go on
I like it.
vacation. It could be right from any website, right, that has advertisings of homes from
Yep.
other places in the country, and do a comparison shop for clients and say, here's what you can get for $500,000 in Florida, and here's what you can get for $500,000 in Las Vegas.
Very good.
I know.
Very good. Great
Okay,
nugget.
I got another one for you.
Okay, go ahead.
Let's go back to, not everybody has SOIs, and they're just working
Then
a
they
brand,
should.
right? Well, yes, but they've picked out a farm area,
Okay?
right?
Okay.
And so you get the farm area, you got the email list, and you got their phone numbers, hopefully, and you send out an email to everybody, just asking them, what's their plan for the year? What's happening with them? Are they renting currently? Are they looking to buy in the future? I had to write this one down. Are they looking to sell or move in, or have no real estate plans whatsoever? And follow it up with a text message that just says, hey, Brad or John or Jane, I just sent you an email to talk about the market and see what you were going to be doing, and just wanted to find out if you fit into bucket 1, 2, or 3. And they're going to write bucket 1, 2, or 3 because you sent them 3 ideas of what they are going to be doing, hopefully, and that may trigger them to contact you and say, 1, what the heck are you calling me about or texting
I
me
won't
about?
fit in a bucket.
Well, that's okay. But your plans may.
Yeah.
But your plans, good response.
I like it. I like
Janet,
it.
you're up.
Okay, I'm up. Well, y'all are talking about how to get listings. One thing that kind of worked for years for me is just totally by accident. So it was a new home community, but the track homes, the models were on the back side of the community. So the front part had been built out like over 2 or 3 years. Well, just so happened that I sold not 1, not 2, but 3 of those track homes new in the very, very last phase. Every time I sold one of them, I sent out to the front part of the neighborhood that had been occupied a couple of years. Hey, just sold another home in your neighborhood on such and such street. And then shortly thereafter, here came another one. Well, they knew it was their neighborhood. They could tell by the picture I had of the home, but they didn't realize it was a brand new home on the back end of the track where they never drove after they'd moved in 2 years earlier. And at one point, I had almost every home that was on the market listed in there.
Wow.
Nice.
Wow.
That's a great point, because most new home communities, a large percentage of the people that buy in them are unrepresented and they have no relationship to a realtor. And I love the idea of farming new home communities. The only downside is, like you said, it'll take 2 or 3 years to build up the notoriety and the market share.
And
But
the
once
equity.
you do, and the equity. But once you do, you control a neighborhood. And I think that's a great point. Most people just forget new homes
It
altogether.
didn't take that long, because by the time I got into that neighborhood, they were in their last phase, and the first couple of phases were 2 to 3 years old.
Sure.
So it worked, and it was also a large military community, so it really worked.
So I've got one that this.
It's my turn.
No, it's my
Go.
turn, because you gave a nugget before the nugget. So relocation companies. We know a lot of these relocation companies have employees that are moving in and out of marketplaces. Has nothing to do with the market. It's for job transfers. And so they've always been a great source of listings because they have to move. And they're actually paying for all of the costs associated with the move. Your commission, if you didn't have equity in your property, which is hard to do, all of the closing costs. And so the problem, though, is a lot of these relocation companies are already tied up with a real estate company. And so let me ask you, who tells a relocation company the employee needs to move? That's right, folks, the HR manager of that company. And so I
guessed it.
Yeah. So there are so many people in our company that have relatives and family members that work for large corporations. And if you were to reach out to the HR managers for those companies and say, I'm a realtor, I'm here to help people move, I'd just like to provide my info, so if anyone comes in or out, can I be considered to help them relocate? And so it's a great way to get bulk listings, and it's worked really well for me.
Yeah. Awesome.
Question?
We have a question.
Oh,
Yep.
Question
Thoughts
from you.
on knocking in gated communities?
Yes.
absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
I just had an agent that did that. She didn't get kicked out. It worked out well. Sometimes you will though. So just
Yep.
know that you could be, the first time they give you a warning, the second time you're not allowed back. So be careful on that, but you can knock them. Just don't be a pain in the butt.
I would absolutely do it, because most agents are going to think, well, it's gated, I won't do it.
Yeah.
And so here's the whole thing. Everyone's going to say, don't solicit me.
But it's not gated. Gated is fine. Guard gated is where it becomes
Well, but
like,
the only difference is
but-
there's someone at the gate
Correct.
to let me in or out.
So,
You
but
have-
those are fine too, is what
Yeah.
I'm saying. She just did it on a guard gated
Yeah,
community.
absolutely.
I mean, she got compliments on it too, because
Yeah.
I had friends that lived in that neighborhood.
Make friends with the guard.
Right. Bring them cookies.
Hey, if you see anyone moving, let me know.
Yeah. Exactly.
No, I think you can do it, but a lot of people are going to say, well, you're soliciting.
Yeah.
Solicitation means I'm going to go to you and try to sell you something, right? If I'm just going out to meet people, I knock on your door, I want to let you know I'm a realtor in case you have any needs. I didn't actually offer to sell you anything. I just wanted to meet you and let you know what I do for a living.
Yep.
Right? That's a completely different thing. Now, in some communities, like Henderson included, you have to have a permit to be able to even door knock. And so you may want to check with the local municipality to do
Oops.
it. It's $25 every 6 months. You can definitely afford it if you're getting a listing out there.
Yeah, that's true. I'll take that all day, all night.
You got another one?
Yeah.
Good.
All
for
right.
it.
I think one of the things that we forget about the most is agents in other cities and other states. Getting referrals from them
Yeah.
is a big deal. So I used to go to conferences all the time. I mean, all the time, right? I was at one every weekend or whatnot.
We can relate.
I
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
And so at those conferences, I would get business cards, I would trade business cards, and I still have those sitting in my drawer in the office. And so every day we sit down, we write 2 to 3 cards to those people, reminding them that I'm still in real estate here in Las Vegas, and if they know anybody that wants to buy or sell or invest in real estate or do property management, I'm available for them. And I provide them with my business card. Now, here's the thing about that is, one, people don't do handwritten notes anymore. And so
Sure.
when someone gets it, it's a big deal.
Yep.
Number 2 is that they have a card and someone to reference here in Las Vegas to. And you can talk about the referral if you want. I have a flyer that I send out. It's a consistent thing. So like they get a handwritten note, then they get a flyer, they get a phone call, they get an email, right?
Just like a mini spear.
stalker status.
Yeah, I love it.
So, but it is referrals from other agents in other states and other countries, because there are people moving here. We're one of those international type of places that people come to and have second homes in and want to live in. And thank you, destination. Thank you. I'm getting old. I forget some stuff sometimes. That was just one of them. But we are destination style, so it doesn't hurt to reach out to other agents and top producing agents. Where can you get that list? Also
Google.
from your title rep,
Yeah.
or there.
Yeah.
Continue.
So,
Google puts out the stuff that,
Top real estate agent in Las
I know.
Vegas. I wonder who will pop up.
me, right? Depends on how much money I spend on Google.
Exactly.
Right.
At least I know you got something to spend, right?
so one of the things that I see people drop the ball on is they forget about their SOI and they haven't contacted them for a while, and they feel bad about contacting them again because they don't know what to say.
I'm sorry.
You know,
That's what I'd say. I'm
right.
sorry.
So, look, if you haven't talked to somebody in a while and they're on social media and you're friends with them, look and see if they've had some kind of event. You know, they've put a picture of their daughter or son or whatever on thing, and email them. You don't have to call them. You can call them too, but I'm an email, text kind of guy, right? I'll email and text you all day long. Send out an email saying, oh, I saw the thing on social media, your boy or whatever is looking so good and this and that. Hey, by the way, how's everything
I thought he was
going?
serious when he said that about me. He
What?
didn't mean it. He was looking for business.
Yeah. No.
That's a good point. I love it.
You know,
It's a good point.
and,
That's awesome.
and for those that you don't have on social media, you just reach out and say, hey, how's it going? We haven't talked in a while.
Yeah.
What's happening? Don't be
still
afraid.
alive.
I know. Don't be afraid to say hi. You know, it's like trying to be in the high school gymnasium at a dance party, and you're afraid to say hi to that girl you want to go dance with. For God's sakes, get over it. Say hi.
You
Get
paint
the
such a
dance.
magical story.
I know. I do.
just-
I
I
try.
bet Tom never had that problem. Ask him that.
That's the problem with Tom.
That is the
Yeah.
problem. I love you,
Is it
honey.
your
If you're
turn or
watching.
my turn?
I feel like it's
Janet,
I
did you
think
wanna
we
go?
Forgot about turns.
Sure,
Just
I'll
do it.
go. So, there's getting listings and then there's securing the listing once you're actually in the door. And one thing I think it's important to point out to clients, only if you're going to do this, is say, I know the market, tell them you know the market's hot, you know what it's going with, say, unlike most agents in Las Vegas, I will be here for you every step of the way. I will show up at the end of your home inspection to, if there are any problems, I'm going to know about them firsthand from the home inspector. I will show up to meet the appraisal, so we're not worried about appraisal issues. And I think it's important that you just don't go, okay, well, the house down the street sold for this, and we should probably price your house somewhere between here and here. Tell them the service you're going to provide. You can always throw in this thing like, unlike most agents now in Las Vegas, don't badmouth anybody in specific, but just in generality.
Nice.
So I'm going to go back to the staple that I used for my business, and it's one that I think always works when you do, and that's high impact open houses. And a lot of people think that open houses are to generate buyers. They're actually not. Open houses are to generate sellers when they're on high impact, meaning I'm going to door knock the neighborhood once or twice before my open house. And I'm not going to hold the open house one day for 3 hours. I'm going to hold it for a week, every day for 3 hours. And I'm actually going to tell everyone that as I'm door knocking, and I'm going to make it an advance notice kind of thing. I'm going to actually send mailers to the community so that they know about it. I'm going to create flyers so that I can hand out like you said. I'm going to call the neighborhood and surrounding neighborhoods, inviting neighbors to come and visit. And so now I've got all this attraction and people coming. One of the best things I love to do was create a VIP showing just for the homeowners in the neighborhood. And I put it on my flyer, private viewing for owners in the neighborhood, like 40 minutes before my open house starts, because everyone wants to be a VIP. And no one just decides to get dressed and showered and get in their car and drive down to an open house because it's fun. We all know it ain't fun.
No,
but
but
they
they're
do
nosy.
it because they want to know what's going on in the community, and they're thinking, maybe we should sell our house. And the whole point is that if you do all of those activities around your open house, it's amazing the amount of people you get. It's amazing if it's your listing, how the seller sees, wow, my agent really worked really hard. Maybe I should give them some referrals. And when you meet those sellers that come in, I mean, that's the best case scenario, is that you meet someone that you can get their info, you have a chance to impress them by seeing all the things that you've done, and you know what home they live in so that you can go and keep them on your list to follow up with.
Cool.
Yeah, and let me
You
tag
don't
on.
get a nugget out of the bag for that one?
I was gonna add to it to make it a double
Oh, okay.
nugget, but that's
Double
okay. And look, people during these times where listings are rare and they sell so quickly, forget about marketing their listing the way they normally would when it's a buyer's market,
Sure.
right? They forget that, and you got to remember and change your mindset to think that all the time, effort, and energy and funds that I may be spending on marketing this property that you think is unnecessary is not, because all you're doing is auditioning for your next listing client.
Ooh.
And if they see that you've done
That's a
that,
nugget.
I know. I'm telling you, I pulled out all the stops.
You've been practicing.
You know. So do those things that you normally would have done in a buyer's market. Do the high impact open houses. Do the flyers. Do everything that you need to do, because it's an audition, folks. You know, the house is going to sell in this market. So for God's sakes, think of it as an investment in your own future of getting additional business by marketing the listing that you have.
What I think is really kind of cool is you've seen the photos on Facebook about being at the house in the $300,000 price range, and there's a line of cars 30 deep waiting to view this house. Can you imagine, remember holding open houses 2 or 3 years ago, and you're like, I hope somebody should. First open house, I kid you not, first open house
There
I
are
ever
a line
did.
of 30 cookies waiting to be eaten.
Yeah, exactly. I showed up at this house in Sun City, Aliante. It was my first open house I've ever gone to, and I got a cooler, like a big industrial cooler, and I filled it full of like 2 cases of water. I got like 2 boxes of cookies. I made this house smell amazing, right? Not one person showed up in 6 hours. The only people that showed up were the golfers on the golf course. So what did I do?
Looking for their ball.
I went to the backyard and started handing out waters because I couldn't get anyone to come in. And so all these people think you're going to have this rush. Right now, you will have a rush on your open house.
Yeah.
Best time to hold it.
Audition.
Yeah. Okay, so I think it's my turn, but
It's
it
your
doesn't
turn.
matter. So a lot of people who are selling right now are also looking to potentially buy, right? And so if you start focusing on the solution for where am I going to go,
Yeah.
right? Where am I going to go if I sell my house? And you focus on that solution. You use your lender partners from Prosperity Lending to help you solve that problem for that client. You're going to get a buyer and you're going to get a seller. Now, let's be real here. Don't forget, on the reverse end, if you've got a seller, make sure you have the conversation with them about where are you going. Well, I plan on moving out of state. Great. I have a great referral agent. It doesn't matter where you're going. I have a great referral agent because you want to be able to get that as well. So don't forget
Yeah.
that little bit. That's like 3
That's a great
nuggets
point.
right there.
Yeah,
that's a great point.
So work with your lender partners on, it's like 3 nuggets.
Oh,
Work with your lender partner
He's out of nuggets.
to help you strategize on where they're going to go, how much they can afford, what they're, because a lot of people are right now thinking, well, I'm going to rent. What if I sell the
Maybe
house?
that's the answer.
And maybe that is the answer. Well, you start finding it. I've got clients that are actually going to be Airbnb-ing for a while because they've made enough money on their home sale that they can Airbnb for months, and I'm not in a rush to have to get them into something, and they're prepared. The other thing that I'm doing, and I know I'm jumping ahead and it's not my turn again, but I'm gonna do it anyway. The other thing that I'm doing is I'm actually talking to clients about how to be a good buyer in this competitive marketplace. I'm having those discussions with them ahead of time. I'm doing videos on it. They know that I'm providing value to them, whether they're the buyer or the seller, and they're going to come to me when they need answers, except for that one guy who sold with his friend, but whatever.
And he's now dead to us.
He's dead to me until he has to sell his next house, but continue. Next.
Is it my turn?
Sure.
Okay, I got one.
You're going back to basics. I've got out of the box nuggets.
I can't wait. I can't wait for you to unwrap those nuggets. Here's one that I still think this weekend, I live in Aliante, they were having the Aliante community garage sale, right? And for right now, it is hard to get people to come out of their homes, and it's gotten way easier. And I noticed that people are out in droves this weekend holding their homes open for people to come and buy the junk they don't want anymore.
Yeah.
What better time for a real estate agent to go door knocking than when people are outside of their home, right? And so just don't get conned into buying all their crap, because I've been there and done that. But the idea is a lot of communities coming up right now, April, May, June, are doing community garage sales. And let me be honest, if the community doesn't have the ability to do a community garage sale, why are you not the one sponsoring it?
Yeah.
I could coordinate, because of my efforts and the things I'm doing anyway, to get everyone in the community to hold a garage sale by simply going to the HOA and saying, I'd like to do this for the community would be allowable. The other thing that I've noticed is that community events like community barbecues, community picnics, these are things that people were doing
Ice
a
cream
year ago.
socials.
Ice cream social. And if you're the real estate agent who's putting it together because everyone doesn't know where to start, you got to think there's a new relationship between a homeowner and their neighbors that didn't exist before.
That's a hot one.
They've spent a year peeking out of the windows watching your habits, right? And so now you have a bond and people want to get out and start meeting and talking to each other. This is a way for you to conquer a neighborhood. And so I put community garage sales, barbecues, events, and anything you can do to kind of get that going. The other thing is HOAs are struggling to communicate with homeowners. And if you're the agent that gives them the opportunity and the answer, it's another way for you to get business. Put that in your nugget bag.
Yeah. So similarly, you can also do Facebook groups that are
Yep.
specific for your community, and you can talk about things that are happening within that community or within the small vicinity of that community to give, to make sure that they know that you're the resource anytime. And again, this all goes back to you're the resource, you're the one that has all the information, you're providing value, you're the one that's telling them about events and things that
Yep.
are happening and whatnot.
Are you surprised that Janet doesn't do a community newsletter for her community she lives in? I am.
My HOA does one.
Yeah. Do
Well,
you write in it?
They probably learned how to do it from you.
Yeah.
I don't think so. But speaking of that, we have a fairly successful team really in our signature Sun City office. And they haven't done it in the past year for obvious reasons. But one thing that's has been very, very successful for them is they do estate sales, which is basically someone in the house has passed away or someone is just very elderly and they're going to be moving with Sun City and they're going to be moving into assisted living. And so they go in and part of their listing presentation and part of what they do is they let the family come in and take whatever they want from the home. And then after that, the two people can't do it. The office, it's like a group effort with that small Sun City office. They get together and hold a garage sale, only they call it an estate sale because there's really some fabulous finds in there if you want to make them at 7 o'clock on Saturday morning. But, and they
I almost
do.
bought a golf cart at one of those.
I know, thanks to
What were
me.
you going to do with it?
I don't know. I wanted to I wanted to have one.
She was going to put a car magnet on it and drive around the neighborhood for
But
Steve.
anyway,
That's another nugget.
they bought these big aprons, like chef's aprons, but with lots of pockets, so they have pins and business cards. It's got signature real estate across the front of it. And the office, basically, that small office works this estate sale, and they get tons and tons of business. In fact, it became a problem when an agent from another signature office listed a home in Sun City and the seller wanted to know when the estate sale was happening. And the agent's like, well, I don't do that. And she said, no, that's why I listed with signature, because of the estate sale. So we had to kind of work something out there. But that's a good idea too. Rather than having the homeowner do it if they're getting ready to leave, you do the sale and call it an estate sale.
So I have another nugget, and I'm going to use that word. You can say like stalker, I'm going to use nugget. The other staple in real estate is, you have a database so that you have cultivated business and you have the momentum to get those great referrals. And you have a hunting activity like high impact open houses so that you're generating new business. What people forget about is the other staple, which is farming. If you farm a neighborhood, then no matter what the market, no matter what's going on, you will continuously get listing leads from a neighborhood or source or group. And so I think now is a great time, if you don't have a farm, to create one with your vendor partner at your title company and with your lender. I mean, if you don't have 100 or 200 homes that you're cultivating.
250, I think, is a good number, to be honest with you.
My thing has always been, if I was going to go out and become a farmer, right? Let's say that I did. That I'm not going to farm 10,000 acres to start. I'm going to farm
Correct.
something very easily doable.
Correct.
And financially stable, because the one thing in farming is agents will start it, but they won't finish it.
Yep.
They won't make it 18 months.
Well, and they usually start it and they're like, I sent out a postcard, nobody called
Just
me.
one.
Just one, and that was it, and they'll stop.
Do you know what the
and
open
I'm
rate
like,
for a postcard is?
It's a postcard. It's
open.
an open.
Well, do you know what the low rate is?
Yeah, 13 seconds as it passes from your hand into the tray.
It's 4%. 4% of the people that you send a card to, open or not,
Actually
smarty
look at
pants,
it?
will actually look at it.
Yeah.
And so if it's only 4% and you send it to 250 people, what, 10 people?
Yeah. But it's 10 more people that you would know.
True,
Right?
but if I
So-
send 4 or 5 cards every quarter or 2 or 3 times a month, I've taken my open rate and dramatically increased it. And so that's why you have to do something.
But you have to do it consistently for a
Yes.
minimum of a year. Like, it's, I will tell you right now, if you start it and you don't finish it for a full year,
Just
don't
waste
even
money.
bother.
Yeah.
You wasted all that money for 6 months or 2 months or whatever. You have to remember, it's a year-long commitment at a minimum. These people need to know that you are working at, and then you circle prospect.
Well, not
the
only that,
farm
but,
area,
but you
right?
think about it. If I list a $400,000 house, and let's say for sake of conversation, I get a 3% commission, that's 12 grand, right? Now, if I only spent $400 to earn 12 grand, that pencils really well.
Right.
That's what a lot of agents are trying to do. They're trying to spend $400 with the one happenstance hope that the one person gets that one card and says, oh my God, I've been waiting for you,
Yeah.
right? That's probably not gonna happen like that, but what will happen is I spend $2,400 over the course of 12 to 18 months, and I get a whole group of people that finally say, yeah, I'll give you a try, come over and talk to me, and now I start generating that math that this opportunity came from this 2,400 bucks, it made me 12 grand, would you be willing to invest in that? Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. But don't leave it just at that. So when you talk about farming,
Gotta
it's
do a lot
not
of
just-
activities.
Yeah, it's not actually just sending out postcards
Nope.
because that's not gonna make it. You gotta send out postcards consistently for a year.
Door knock.
You've got to door knock.
Call,
Anything you wanna, I'll just.
No, keep going.
Barbecue.
No, no, great.
garage sale,
Yeah.
newsletter,
Yeah.
nuggets.
Well, and
All
here's,
of
and
that.
I want to piggyback on that too. So years ago, I farmed a neighborhood, and we'd send out this little one-page newsletter. And at Thanksgiving, we had a thing. Please,
Told you.
please fill out this.
I knew a newsletter was coming.
Oh.
Please fill this out and email it.
That's what the
Prior
community-
it was prior to email, so we made them send them in with a stamp on the envelope and
Return
enter into a
address.
drawing for a Thanksgiving turkey. Well,
That's an idea you're not doing.
this lady won we opened them all up, spread them out, reached in and grabbed one. Oh, this person won the turkey. So we called her and said, hey, you won the turkey. Can we come by tonight and deliver it? So we did, chatted with her. Well, then I was forced to move to Guam for 2 years.
Story
So-
took a turn, didn't it?
Yeah, so I moved to Guam.
Did you keep
and
up the
then-
newsletter?
No, I didn't, but I think Carmen may have.
Oh, really?
And then came back and been back like, I don't know, 3 or 4 months, reactivated my license. Get a phone call from the lady that won the turkey like 3 years earlier, and she had had our newsletter in her junk drawer in
What
her
should I set the oven
kitchen
on?
for almost 3 years, and she was forced to sell and pulled it out and called us.
That's
So,
amazing.
Yeah.
you never know.
Nope.
Your postcard may be sitting in somebody's junk drawer for
Yep.
2.5 years until they decide, oh, I need to sell, and then they find your card in their junk.
But we know the cards do work and the
Mm-hmm.
newsletters do work because people do save them. And I know I've hired vendors for my house off of that, value pack card thing that comes in just because I
You
saw
actually,
it.
you're one of the few.
I have done it. I have done it. And obviously,
haven't
people are
even
You're
doing
the
it.
4 out of 100
Did
that
you-
actually opened the value
The
pack.
turkey was a great idea. I know that there are people that struggle at Thanksgiving they forget about a turkey, and I've heard of people like buying them really cheap as it starts and then handing them out to their neighborhood. I mean, what's a turkey cost? $30?
Well,
You know,
depends on-
Shelly has a turkey in her freezer for like 8 years. She could probably.
So if you need that one, go ask her.
Yeah.
But Brandon was talking the other day that he used to do pumpkins. He would actually go and buy a whole truck full of pumpkins and hand them out in the neighborhood,
Yeah.
for people to carve out. I mean, those things that you're doing in a neighborhood can generate just the business from
I
all
used
of
to
those
do
things.
carving competitions, pumpkin carving competitions.
believe it.
If for my entire
Sure.
neighborhood, and we would have people come and they would do a full blown, then we would give them gift cards for 3rd place, 2nd place, 1st place, and it would be a lot of fun. So we did that quite a bit too. And then I moved.
So one of the ones I heard that this is a great idea, by the way. So major holidays like Valentine's Day or like New Year's Eve, there's an agent I know of that goes and makes reservations, and they get like
Yeah.
10 reservations that are great things. They set them out
Lee Brown told me about this one, I remember, right?
Maybe that's who said it.
Oh my God, it was.
But
Oh, I
2
love
months in
Lee
advance, that they get them, and then they call their VIP clients, and they're like, "Hey, listen, I don't know if you have plans for Valentine's Day, but I took the liberty, if you wanted, of getting you a reservation at this great restaurant for you and your spouse. Just let me know, and I'd love to set you up with that.
Yeah.
So
That's huge.
she got the reservation, but she's not paying the bill.
No.
Right?
So I actually,
what a great deal that is.
I
right?
actually
Make
had
the
an
res.
agent. I had an agent that wanted to up her game on social media and did a whole social media thing about if you share and like and get more people to subscribe to my page and blah blah blah, I will buy you and your spouse or whoever 2 people dinner at so and so. And so
worth it.
she went from like I want to say 500 followers to 6,400.
Yeah, that's
And all it
worth
cost was dinner.
All it cost.
You were going to eat anyway.
Yeah, so
You know,
I mean, I'm sure she did a lot of other stuff too, but still.
And I don't know if it's because I live in a guard-gated neighborhood, but I don't see the things that I used to see like 10, 12 years ago, like spring. Okay, so a spring, you buy a packet of flower seeds, tape it on a door hanger, and hang it on the door with your card.
You want to be
Just throw
known,
'em out
you
as you
want to be
drive
known
by.
as the seed lady or the real estate expert?
It's a nice thing to do.
I will
Come
help
on.
you grow your real estate investment.
You know, it just depends
Yeah.
on
Oh,
what
my
you say. And then flags out on the 4th of July
always
with
liked
your
that one.
card attached to them. I mean, there's something that you can do if you're really seriously farming a really good neighborhood that you like. And
We disagree.
Stop it.
Yeah, it's okay.
I agree. I think it's a great
Listen.
idea.
I think
If you do
look, I don't want to be.
anything-
I don't want to be known.
take your nuggets and go.
I don't want to be known as the calendar lady or the seed guy. I want to be known as the marketing expert. I want to make sure that they get something from me every single month about what's happening in the market.
He's sitting there with a bag of Hershey's Nuggets telling me he doesn't
they're
want to be known
getting
as the
flags.
All right, what you got?
I'm
What's your out of?
I'm done.
Oh, you're out. That's it.
I'm-
You're, oh, okay. So
Oh, yeah.
you're just gonna.
So you just
sit
wanna
here
knock down other
complain
nuggets.
about-
Yeah, because you guys are starting to try to trump me.
Janet, did you finish your nugget list?
Well, I could have gone through the seasons, but I think I'm done with. It's just another method of keeping in contact rather than sending an
Yep.
email that says, "Hi, remember me? I'm your marketing expert." You've given them something, and your card's attached to it.
You also need to stop, by the way, when you're advertising, stop talking about homes selling in a day. We know they sell in
Yeah.
a day. Nobody cares, right? Talk about how much more you got for that seller.
Yeah.
Talk about how much extra work you may have done to get that seller way more money than they originally expected. Talk about sold for 15% above list price or above market value or whatever. Stop talking about how many days, because everything
I
sells
do have
quick.
an add on that one. It's
Go
about a
ahead.
story. If you have a story to tell, make it about the client, not about you. I sold it in one day. All about you, and it really sucks, right, as far as the marketing brand.
Me.
Right. Tell about the story about the family that needed to move and you were able to get the value and get them more than what they were asking for and got them what they needed and this and that and that. Pull the heartstrings, tell the story, because people's minds will go along with what you're trying to tell them if you're telling them a story. If you're just talking about you and I sold it in one day, whoo, I just made a whole bunch of money, they don't give a damn. But
Yeah.
they'll listen, and you'll be able to lead them down the path of making you, in their mind, the real estate expert that way.
That's a good point. I'm surprised it came from you.
Hey,
Janet, one of the
I'm
things...
about ready to go like this and say that I'm done with my nuggets.
One of the things that I think is really interesting about this is that the things that Janet was talking about with the newsletters and the seasons, it still works right now when you decide to work. And so it doesn't matter if the market's up, it doesn't matter if technology's different, it doesn't matter if, any of it. As long as you're out there doing things consistently on a regular basis, you will make the market not matter. And that's why clients will ask me all the time, is the market good? Is the market bad? The market's always good.
Yep.
The market's always fantastic.
If you're working it.
Is it now a good time to sell? I sell houses for a living. What person? Not bad time to sell. I mean, I'd be broke, right? But the whole question is, why are they thinking now? What's the motivation now? I'm always there to help them buy. I'm always
More
there to help
money,
them sell.
more money, more money.
Yeah, but it's
right?
the intent of where they're going. I love what you said about out-of-market agents, that they're always transitioning somewhere.
Yeah.
This home is not the home I'm going to die in because it's not everything I've ever wanted. I will argue that with this is after you planned your entire life, everywhere you ever want, this is the home you wanted to, really? You have no other expectations in life?
You haven't seen my backyard.
Well, but the whole point is there's always that illusion of something could be better, and if I can get them to see that and I can help them get it, why would this be the home they die in, right?
Right.
Yeah, I agree. Any,
You have some nuggets left, I know you do.
I do, but I had one that was really good and then I forgot because then you talked.
So I have one more thing.
Oh, yeah.
I got this from one of my agents, and he said, here's what you have to remember. With buyers, you need to build rapport. Because we're out shopping, we're picking out a house, and it's fun. And you have to build rapport so that they have fun with you. But with sellers, you need to build trust because this is a business transaction. I thought that was so profound.
That is great.
Yeah.
That is really
Yeah.
good.
Can you repeat it? I was busy.
It'll be in the newsletter.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. The other one that I had was using Zillow to your advantage. Okay. Two things that Zillow does really well is that they help people. They have people that come to their site. They
Yep.
advertise a lot. Use it to your advantage. They use us. Why not use them, right? They've got a make me move list of sellers who are looking to move if they have the price that they want, right? It could be unrealistic.
But now they're getting closer to
but
it.
they're getting right, and they're getting closer and closer.
You probably
Use
reached
that
it.
list. They also have a for sale by owner
Yeah.
list. They are one of those websites that allow for sale by owners to advertise on their website. Use that to actually go out and talk to for sale by owners to help them sell their home,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Great. It's
Okay.
a great point.
Yeah.
I think the other thing was, I always saw them as a tool to bring an offer directly to my listing appointment, because the one thing people
Yeah.
would say is, well, I never got any offers on my property, right? So you had Zillow that would give you one, Open Door that would give you one, OfferPad that would give you one right away as an agent going to do a listing. Now the funny thing is the market's gone up so high.
Their estimates are pretty close.
Well, yeah, they got closer, but they're
Yeah.
also offering above market
Yeah.
now when they weren't before.
Yeah.
And so people don't know that. They're actually paying more for homes than they ever had thought they would.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if you don't know about it before you go to the listing, you better, because
Mm-hmm.
clients are checking it out.
And one of the things
Oh.
we did talk about was our own website that we provide agents and how they should be using that to use it as a lead generator.
Yeah. Okay, also, surprise CMAs, we talked about them through, I think, David Burnell was on
Yeah.
was on here one time, he talked about it, Todd talked about it one time, is that you should be doing an annual review for your clients on their home, right? Just make it one of those things, you put it in when they close, trigger it for, a year and a half out, and then a year after that, and then a year, so it doesn't show up on their anniversary. But if you trigger it on
love
your
it.
calendar to actually do surprise CMAs, hey, this is what your home's worth, this is what's happening in your neighborhood, here's what's sold, here's what the, based off of what I know, unless you've made any changes from the time that, I helped you buy that house, here's where it's at. And at some point, they're gonna call you and talk about it.
Do you want to hear a great thing that I thought of on that? And this to me makes perfect sense for our business, but we don't think of it this way. If I was going to go to an investment banker or a financial manager, the first thing they're going to tell me is we have 10 billion under management,
Yeah.
right? Why do they say that?
To impress you.
Well, to impress me, but what does it also make me feel secure about?
Your investment.
My investment, right? If I know there's 10 billion with my 500,000, I'm going to feel really good that it's not going to go
Because you
away.
ain't losing 10 billion.
What I see happening a lot is that agents forget the fact that they're supposed to work these clients for life and the growth of their investment portfolio in real estate. And my financial planner has down what I don't. That he is going to grow my wealth for as long as it takes, for as long as I want, as he gets paid along the way, until I decide I'm done. Why isn't it the same with my clients? Why am I not telling my clients that I have 200 clients I've put into homes and I have X number of millions that I've helped people create and maintain, because I am doing that,
Yep.
right? And it would make my clients feel really secure that I've helped that many people build wealth in real estate. And I love your yearly updates, because that's how I tell people that the plan is working or that they need to augment the plan.
Right.
What if it was even monthly, right? We have a great service through the board. It's not as accurate, but it's eProperty Watch.
Yep.
And it sends a monthly statement to every client you put into it. By the way, the property doesn't have to be here in Las Vegas. It can be anywhere in the nation. It will send them a monthly email from you. It has a 50% open rate. You know why? Because they put the property address in instead of anything about you or anything else. And they click on it, and it shows them the home changes, like things that have happened in the neighborhood, quick comps, articles they can read about real estate stuff that they'll love, and it all comes branded from you, and it's all provided by the board.
So, right, so that you could do for free. You can also do the one that Prosperity Lending has, which
Yep.
is HomeBot. They have the HomeBot app that you can plug into.
Just
and-
the values don't always match
They
on
don't,
any of
but
the
that's the
systems.
best
That's okay.
part.
That's the
That's
whole
the
idea.
best part, right? Because I have a client that called me and said, hey, is my home really 1.3? I go, it might be today, let's list it, and we listed it. And so it's a little high, but it doesn't, I mean, we've had more showings than I would have expected, which is great because the market right now could potentially dictate that. But it was because of that monthly newsletter that they received saying,
Think
hey,
of all the properties that you've helped people in over the course of your
oh,
business
so
and all the wealth you've
so I was
helped them
actually
build.
going to talk about that too. Is that if you don't remember who you worked with, and you haven't been tracking your numbers, and you have no idea how many people you've worked with, blah blah blah. There is on the MLS, you can actually pull your sales history for the last
Forever.
10
Yeah.
years,
You
not
can go
forever.
back. You can go back further if you call them.
Yeah.
Ooh, go back further if you call them. I'm going to do that. But I only did 10 years worth. And I mean, I took all the properties that I've sold and said, here's where they are on a map, and put them right in my listing presentation, use that as a marketing tool. Here's all the people that I've helped in. And if you look at the map, it's in every neighborhood. There is not a single neighborhood that I haven't touched. Well, maybe
huge.
one. But for the most part, it's a great like visual thing. And then it shows how much I actually helped with closings.
You can
and
take
the
that same
dollar
list
amount.
and put it into there's an app that you can get where you can actually put in multiple addresses and
Yeah.
it'll print you out a map. Like if you did
Yep.
new home and commercial,
Yep.
and you can actually print a map that shows a heat map of all the places you've sold.
Yep.
And if you're out there and you've only sold 2 homes, you can actually use the company stats and be able to provide that.
Yeah.
I stole it from her.
You
I
stole-
plucked it right from her mind.
So let me put a cherry
We're
on
at
top
time.
of
We're
the.
10:30.
about
I want to
the,
say one more thing
oh, go ahead.
before we
Say it,
end.
Janet.
Totally off topic, but.
Oh, that's
um,
horrible.
Well, let him finish his thing
All right, go
because
ahead.
you're off
So the
topic.
cherry on top of the CMAs, surprise CMAs. Imagine if you did do the recorded one to them and sent it to them through BombBomb. Imagine how more
Look at that,
effective
him
would
bringing
be.
it back to the beginning. Sorry, enough from
Whoa,
you.
full
Janet?
circle. Okay, so we haven't done one in well over a year, but on May 25th, LVR is going to have a general membership luncheon.
what?
Now,
Live?
What's
so excited.
What's general membership?
So I want to tell all of you who have become realtors in the past year or so and don't even know what the general membership luncheon is, you are part of the general membership
those who
of
forgot.
LVR. What?
And those who forgot.
Oh. So anyway, it's going to be May 25th at the Four Seasons. You show up at 11 o'clock. Oh, by the way, it's free.
What?
You have to make a reservation and give them a credit card number, and they're going to put $35 on your credit card. But that $35 is going to pay for your next round of fees, which will be your key
It'll be contributed
fees.
Yeah.
to them, not paid for them.
Well, thank you. That $35 will go to it. So you
Credit
show up at
towards.
11 o'clock, you've got all these vendors who are passing out notepads and all the pins you'll
Free
need for the
drawings.
next year. There's free drawings with fabulous $100 gas cards, $50 Neiman Marcus card, not Neiman Marcus,
They went out of
Nordstrom's.
business, I think.
But yeah,
Chico's
Nordstrom's
cards.
had changed it. No, they haven't done Chico's yet. But anyway, and so there is a luncheon and a fabulous national, actually international, speaker,
Speaker.
Terry Watson, who you
Oh,
will
he's the one that said that.
Yes, you're right. He
It wasn't Lee Brown.
absolutely adore Terry Watson. You have to be there. Lunch is free after you put $35 down. And then after lunch is a free CE class. I don't know this for sure, but more than likely Terry Watson will be teaching the CE
Yep.
class, and it'll be the best time you've
He's
ever
phenomenal.
had.
CE
How-
pending.
Yeah.
However,
Oh,
it's going to be limited. I
No
want
refunds.
all of you
Oh.
to go. So as soon, right now they're advertising it, but it says reservations opening soon. As soon as you see that email from LVR that says reservations are open, you make your reservations immediately. You will network, you'll get free stuff, you'll get lots of good information. Lunch at Four Seasons is always fabulous. I
and it's
mean,
free?
and it's virtually free. You
No,
can't
not
spend
virtually.
Not virtually, live free.
Life free.
Live free. Live free.
So that is National Wine Day, just so you know.
Oh, and-
May 25th.
So Four
Um,
Seasons has a great bar downstairs that we all can, you know,
Go to
have some
afterwards,
wine.
yeah.
Afterwards, I only charge $18 for a glass of
That's okay.
cheap wine.
And
If you have enough
I'm
listing.
gonna-
Wheels off the bus, folks.
I'm gonna put it on Tom's credit card. Tom's buying.
so we're there. We're at 10:30 plus. But I do want to remind everybody we have a couple of events that are going on at Signature through Signature Strong. I have been really excited because I've been working with Persia on putting 2 events out. One of them is our Deliver with Dignity, And that is actually a delivery service that you provide to people who cannot be out during the pandemic, and you go and pick up food from one place, drop it off at their door, and they just need drivers. And so Deliver for Dignity, or Delivering with Dignity is a flyer that just should have popped up on our agent's signature. And then we are also doing a blood drive. We need donors. The state needs donors. Can you please sign up, because I believe that it is really important that we provide for our community. All right, so that's Signature Strong.
thing.
No, that's it, you're
No,
done.
because we have simplest training
Oh, that's
today
right.
here at 11:30. We have it tomorrow
In the Green Valley.
in Green Valley,
Yep,
and
at
then the
noon.
next day after that in your office.
Summerlin.
Thursday, and I'm having lunch, so you
See?
want to come to Summerlin.
Well,
All right,
listen.
so there it is.
But
All right,
RSVP
folks.
with Bobby, so we'll
I
know
think
about
that's
lunch.
it. We are way past our 10:30 timeline. Thank you so much. I hope you got a couple of nuggets on listing.
Well, we know they got 5.
listings, at least, right?
Yep.
My 5.
My
So my 5. But that's it. So thanks so much for joining us today. We'll see you next week.
Bye.